Happy Thursday.
Hello.
How's everybody doing today?
Great.
Sorry, we're running about a minute behind today. I had some technical difficulties getting in. Okay, so today let me admit some more people. Give people just a second here. And I'm going, while everybody is joining.
Right after dinner time through midnight, and after that, we're all
guys, please mind your background noise. Thank you. So I'm just gonna mute people really quickly. So yes, always feel free to participate, and I will be asking for participation. So yes, if you're participating in the chat, and I'm not acknowledging that you're participating in the chat, please feel free to just jump in. But that being said, I am going to pull up where is the test we had last time. Okay. So if we are participating in the chat, please feel free to jump in. I will be asking for people to participate today. Is anybody willing to run the role play with me? Anybody? Okay, I will call on somebody. Okay, Ivana, are you at a place that you could do a role play with me?
Sure. I'm in the car now, but I'm on my way to pick my daughter up. But I have maybe about 20-25 minutes that I can spare.
Are you able to actually look at the screen safely?
Change it to Felipe. I'm available.
Okay, great.
Thank you,
that will work. Thank you.
I'll do it next time. I promise.
Okay. Drive safe. Listen,
yes,
but don't look at the screen too much. Okay, so we're going to pick up where we left off last week. So this will be our second appointment with the client. And let me just share my screen so that we can all see what we are talking about. Okay, can everybody see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, and it's the Life Plan 360?
That's correct.
Okay, perfect. And Kathy, you're minding the entry room, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, perfect. So, okay, so this is what we ended up with at the end of our last meeting, Felipe. So is there anything that you talked about when you guys went home, that you guys had more questions about, that you were wondering how you would do this, if it would work for you? Tell me about the conversation you had when you went home.
Yeah, when we were driving home, it just sounds, too good to be true. I've talked to another advisor, and they're saying, there's no way things could be guaranteed. So, I'm not sure how this would work with us.
Okay, well, that is actually what we're about to do next. We're going to design your product, what you want, because notice we haven't mentioned anything about where you're going to put this. All we've done thus far is design a plan. So we've taken care of some of the math things and re-looked at what you have going on to figure out what is possible. And I just want to make sure that everything is what you're comfortable with, that you're excited about it, that you feel that if this was possible, that it would be good for you and your family.
Yeah, if it is possible, but once again, other people are telling me that there's no way this can be done, or guarantees, be issued. So that's where, the confusion came in.
Okay. Perfect. So if we're happy with how the plan looks right now, and we just want to see how we're going to do it, we can go to the next page and start reviewing some of that as well. Are we good to do that?
Real quick, getting off the role play, can you just go once again and kind of review, since I'm in the role play now, of what the specifics, I guess, were last week? Because when I do role play, I'm not an easy person. I don't do it where you just get the the sale right away. I'm very difficult, which is what you experience out in the field.
So basically last week we went over all of the entire full picture of what this client has going on. So we talked about their income, their 401ks, their Roth, their IRA, their savings, the mortgages that they have, mutual funds, any debts that they have, and you know, paying off the debts and getting rearranging some of their assets to make sure that we're in a good place. And at the end of, what is it, 11 years, I think it is, that we ended up with $1.2 million in the cash in a tin can pile. This is the money that if they do all of these things and took those dollars and stuffed them in a tin can and shoved it under their bed, they would have $1.2 million. So the guaranteed growth is 1.8. So that being said, now we're going to figure out how we're getting there. Like what financial vehicles we're looking at to get there. Make sense?
Okay.
Okay. And if you need the recording from last week, email me.
Not a problem. It just not being in the role play specifically, I kind of was trying to remember exactly the specifics last week. To make sure I'm on track with where you're at here. Hope that makes sense.
Yes. So perfect. Okay. So we talked about some of the things, as we were going through your assets and liabilities, we talked about some of the things that where you're currently saving money doesn't have, and some of the things that maybe you'd want it to have. So we know that we're looking at sending kids to college, right? So would being FAFSA free, meaning that it's not visible to the financial aid formula, be of use to you?
Can you explain that more, please? On the FAFSA?
So, okay, what we're trying to do, we're designing your stress test. So we want to test all of the vehicles that are available to you to put your bank in. We want to test them against the qualities that you want your bank to have. So when we talk about FAFSA, you've got kids going to college, and the FAFSA is Federal Application for Student Aid. So if you're going to get anything from any source, whether it be public or private, every family has to fill out the FAFSA. And the FAFSA is going to dig into everything, your income, your assets, any investments that you might have.
But
so
isn't financial assistance something I would be looking forward to?
yes, and that is why you want, wherever you create your bank, to not be visible to that. Does that make sense?
Gotcha. That makes sense right there. All right.
No, we want being FAFSA free is something that you would want in your bank, right?
So it doesn't count against me. I get it now. All right.
It doesn't count against you. They can't see it.
Gotcha. Simple English. Thank you.
Yeah. So things like a 401k is not visible to FAFSA, but something like equity in an investment property is visible to FAFSA.
Gotcha.
And that would be counted against you. So, okay, so we're going to select that it's FAFSA free. So something else that we talked about is that money that you have right now in qualified accounts like your IRA, your 401k, isn't 100% available to you for whatever you need it for. So is being liquid, meaning that you can access that money in 72 hours or less, would that be something that you would want in a financial vehicle for your bank?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, perfect. So while we're talking about the 401ks, what about penalties? If you need your money, do you really need to be penalized 10% just for using your money when you need to use it?
I mean, I understand why they do it, but no, I wouldn't want to be penalized. Of course not.
So if you're building a bank and you need to use the money that you put in that bank, you don't want them to say, bad Felipe, you can't use all of that. You want it to be penalty free, right?
Well, absolutely.
So we'll add penalty free. What about taxes? I think we talked about that even the minute amount of growth that you're getting in your savings account is currently taxable. So is that something that you'd want to make sure, especially when a lot of this is something that you're preparing for retirement? Would it be useful to you to know that you never have to pay taxes on that money again?
Of course, absolutely.
Okay, so we'll add tax-free. And, you know, especially now, and I know we talked about it last time, but the market fluctuation in your current retirement accounts has made you uncomfortable, and it's a source of stress. So is a guarantee in how much it's going to grow and the predictability of when and how much it's going to grow be of use to you? So a guarantee.
Yeah, guarantee. Yeah, but the other financial person I was talking to, you know, after we left the office last week, mentioned that there's no way you could, you know, guarantee this. So that's where the confusion came with my spouse and I.
Yes. So if you're talking to an investment advisor, they're dealing with solely market products, and therefore nothing that they do is guaranteed. So we're going to look at everything. So we're going to look at qualified funds, cash value life insurance, Roth accounts, annuities, stocks and bonds, college savings accounts, also known as 529s, mutual funds, and bank accounts. Are there any other places that one could put money that we have not talked about here?
You're the financial expert. You would know better than I would. So I don't know.
Honestly, the only one I've ever heard is real estate, and we can talk about that as well.
Yeah, I'm just trying to be a realistic, you know, person here. That's all.
True. I just want to make sure that there wasn't like something in your head that you had a question about, because other people have said to me, well, crypto, that I would put under stocks and bonds. So I want to make sure that there's no question in the
Gotcha.
back of your head that's not being
Yeah.
answered.
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay, good. So basically what we're going to do is, and I'm not saying that we're going to definitely get all of these qualities in any product, but what we're going to do is see what makes the most sense. Okay.
Okay.
So how important is it that where we're putting this $8,000 one time and $120,000 annually be FAFSA free?
Well, from the way you explained it, I would consider probably very important.
So 100%?
Yeah, absolutely.
Perfect. What about it being liquid, having complete access to it when you need your money?
Yeah, absolutely. That's you know, since you bring it up, absolutely, that would be of very much important. Also, 100%.
100%? Great. What about penalty free? You want to, if you need money, you don't need to be losing money to penalties, right?
That's correct. Yeah,
So on a scale of 1 to 100, how important is that?
I don't see why you would want to pay penalties. So 100%.
Awesome. What about tax free, knowing that the future tax rate is never going to affect how much money you have to take out?
Absolutely. I mean, if there was a way that could be done, or if it's even possible, absolutely.
Okay. And guarantees, I'm guessing that's also 100% based on the fact that that's the one thing that you're talking about most.
Correct. I mean, you know, I've heard that nothing could be guaranteed. So if that would be possible, absolutely.
Okay. So now we're going to go through all of these and figure out what financial vehicles have which attributes. So sorry, just admitting people really quick. So let's talk about qualified funds first. Are qualified funds FAFSA free?
I don't know.
Look at the chart.
Oh, okay.
So yes, they
So-
are.
So that's a good thing. The 401k that we have right now would qualify under that. So that would be a good thing, I take it?
Yes. So the good thing is that your retirement money that you have already saved is not going to count against you on FAFSA and how much federal aid you get, basically, is what that means.
Okay.
So, but are your qualified funds, your 401k, your IRA, are those things liquid?
No, that I do know.
Right. Are they penalty free?
Not to, you know, till you're older.
Yeah, right. You have to be at least 59 and a half, right?
Correct.
But, you know, if we're sending kids to college, we're not going to be 59 and a half when we do that.
Maybe mentally, but not in physical age.
True. So what about, are qualified funds tax free?
Not that I heard, because they're deferred, so you don't pay the taxes until you take the money out after retirement, correct?
Right, right. And is your 401k and IRA guaranteed?
No,
No.
that's one thing that I've been informed about.
Yeah, they're not guaranteed. They're in the market, and that's what your other financial guy has said to you, right? That
Correct.
there are no
Yeah.
guarantees.
That's right.
So precisely. So that being said, and guys, just so everybody is aware, pay attention to what my head is doing. As I am ticking these boxes, I ask the question and tick the box at the same time so they can see it. And I'm also either nodding my head very visibly or I'm shaking my head no. So basically what I'm trying to get here is participation from my clients. I want them to tell me so that I know that they are actually absorbing this information, but I'm making it very obvious what the answer is. Cool beans?
Yep.
Okay. So moving on. So cash value life insurance. Is cash value life insurance FAFSA free?
Well, it appears that it is there.
Okay. Is it liquid?
Yes.
I guess so, if you're telling me. I mean, all right.
Is it penalty free?
It appears so.
Is it tax free?
Yes.
Yeah, it looks like it is.
And is it guaranteed?
Yes.
That's scary. Okay, I guess it is.
Yep. There is a contract involved. So yes, it can be guaranteed by contract. So let's take a look at Roth accounts. Are Roth accounts FAFSA free?
Yes.
Okay. Are they liquid?
Looks like not.
No. Are they penalty free?
Definitely not.
Are they tax free?
Yep, that same as the mutual funds. No.
Right. So, and I mean, the benefit of a Roth is theoretically when you get to retirement, you never pay tax on that money again. But if you take that money out prior to 59 and a half, the growth in it can be taxable and it can't, and all of it can be penalized. So
Right.
that's why we
what
have to
it's
say
either.
no on those things, just so that you have that information.
Mhm.
And are Roth accounts guaranteed?
No, that's what, I was told that before as well. No.
Right, because they're market-based.
Mhm.
So let's take a look at annuities. Are annuities FAFSA free?
Yep.
Yeah. Are they liquid?
Looks like no.
No, because they're, again, a contract. Are they penalty free?
No, I've heard a lot of times that, annuities are not good to get because they have a lot of fees. And if you take your money out, you're going to pay, a lot in taxes, which doesn't make sense to me.
So penalty is also there. Yeah.
Are annuities tax free? You were just talking about
Right.
that.
No.
Right. Are they guaranteed?
Yes. As
Yes.
long as you keep your money in there, the way they say, then yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, at the because it's a contract, annuities in most cases are guaranteed to at least never lose money.
Right.
So now let's take a look at stocks and bonds. Are stocks and bonds FAFSA free?
Nope.
Are they liquid?
Yep. Looks like it. Yep.
Yeah, because you could theoretically sell them and have the money the next day, right?
That's correct. Yes.
So are they penalty free?
Yes.
Are they tax free?
No.
Are they guaranteed?
Of course not.
Big no on guaranteed. And right now, all bets are off.
Correct.
So let's take a look at college savings plans. College savings, 529s. These are the accounts that we get, mailers for as soon as anybody has a baby that we should start saving for their college. That are government sponsored programs. Are they FAFSA free?
No.
They're visible to FAFSA. Are they liquid?
No.
Are they penalty free?
Wow, they're really screwing you on this one. Nope.
Are they tax free?
No.
And are they guaranteed?
No, because they're also on the market as well. So no.
Right. So they're in the market. If you use it for anything that is not a qualifying educational expense, they are both penalized and taxable. They're not obviously not liquid, and they are still visible to FAFSA. So why is the government telling us that this is how we should save for our kids to go to college?
Yeah, I was going to mention that too, because the first one, the FAFSA free, I was expecting to see a yes on that. But wow, okay.
Yeah, but That is the way they are. So let's move on to mutual funds. Are mutual funds FAFSA free?
Nope.
Are they liquid? Yes.
Yeah, on the mutual funds, correct. Yes, that's, mhm.
Are they penalty free?
Yes, they are.
Yep, they work just like stocks and bonds. You can sell them without penalty and have the cash almost immediately. Are they tax free?
No,
No, anytime they go up, you get taxed.
correct.
And are they guaranteed?
Nope.
So what about bank accounts? Are bank accounts FAFSA free?
It doesn't look like it.
No, they're
Wow.
not. They're visible to FAFSA. Are they liquid?
Yeah, they are.
Yep. Are they penalty free?
Yes.
Are they tax free?
No,
No.
nothing seems to be tax free there.
No, that like 10 cents that you get every month is technically taxable. And are they guaranteed?
Yes, they are.
Yep. So the FDIC guarantees bank
Up to a
accounts
certain amount, right? Yeah.
Yeah, up to $250,000. So
Correct.
the other thing that we were talking about was real estate. I know that's a very common investment for people. So the equity in real estate is visible to FAFSA, so it's not FAFSA free. It is not liquid because we'd have to refinance that house to take out the equity.
Correct.
It is penalty free. You're not going to get slapped on the wrist for using that equity, but it is not tax free either, because if you sold that house, there would be a whole bunch of taxes associated with the sale of that house. And it's not guaranteed because, again, it is a real asset and therefore subject to market fluctuation.
Mhm. So for what I can see on this chart is, looks like everything that's, that we've been told to put money in, it kind of screws us in a certain, sense as far as taxes and penalties, except for that second one, which you said was like insurance or something like that?
Yes, so cash value life insurance, and actually you're one step ahead of me. That was my next question. So thinking about our $8,000 one time and $124,000 a year to create our bank with, our bank account something we're going to want to discuss further?
Doesn't appear that way.
Okay, no. What about mutual funds?
Same thing, doesn't appear that way.
Right. College savings accounts?
I thought that would be yes, but obviously no.
Okay. What about stocks and bonds?
From what you're showing me here, no.
What about annuities?
Same thing, no.
Yes,
Yeah.
for our bank, it doesn't make sense to use an annuity, but possibly to protect some of our retirement accounts because they do have that guarantee built into them, but we'll come back to that.
Okay.
Right now, we're concentrating on our bank, one step at a time. So thinking about our bank, what about Roth accounts?
Definitely not.
What about cash value life insurance?
From this chart here, that appears to be the only one.
And by your last answer, I'm assuming that we're not going to talk about qualified funds anymore.
Correct. That doesn't offer the tax-free or penalty-free stuff and things like that.
Right, right. So can I ask you a question?
Sure.
So if cash value life insurance is the only financial vehicle that passed the stress test of the attributes that you want your bank to have, why is it the only one that you don't have?
Great question. And the only answer I have is because we've been told otherwise, growing up and our employers, put the money in a 401k and in the market or what have you. So I never knew that this was even an option or offered these benefits.
Because you've heard your entire life that the end all be all in a job is a 401k and a dental plan.
Correct. Yes.
It becomes status quo. Follow the masses. It's what everybody does in their safety in numbers.
That's
Right?
right. Yeah,
Sound about
that's
right?
correct.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So what do you know about cash value life insurance?
I've heard that a lot of negative stuff about it. It's very expensive compared to regular insurance. I hear on the radio a guy named Dave Ramsey is against it. So I don't understand, why it's such positive here when you hear so much negative, out there on the radio and other financial, people telling me that there's no guarantees or what have you.
Okay, so let me address those things one at a time, if you don't mind.
Sure.
So what specifically does Dave Ramsey say about cash value life insurance?
That it's the devil.
Specifically, he said that it's evil.
Yes.
Do you know why he said it's evil?
I'm not really sure. I mean, he's, the financial expert on the radio, and that's what they say, and that's what I've heard.
So
You tell me.
Dave, sorry, say that again.
You tell me. I mean, that's what I hear. That's what I hear. And the masses and everybody talk about that it's so expensive and it's not worth buying, and it doesn't grow as fast as other, the stock market or what have you.
Okay, so Dave Ramsey specifically says that cash value life insurance or whole life insurance is evil, specifically evil, because it only guarantees a 6% return per year.
Right. He says mutual funds, you get 10 to 12%, back on that. So why would anybody go with, what you're talking about?
He says that if you're not getting 12% per year,
You fire your advisor.
Fire your advisor. So
Yeah, that's
I
what I
have
heard.
2 questions for you. One, when was the last time that you got a consistent 12% per year from an investment account?
I don't know. That's a great question. I'd have to look, but I don't have a specific answer to that.
Okay. And 2, if you were guaranteed to get 6% return every single year without ever incurring a loss, would you be upset?
Probably not.
So why is whole life insurance evil? Cash value life insurance?
Because you're not getting 12%.
But is it possible to do anywhere else?
I don't know.
So I would very much take a look at your statements, and keep in mind that APR is different than yield. So I'm going to stop sharing for 1 second because I would like to bring up a different page. Where is my whiteboard? Whiteboard. Bear with me a second. This was not originally part of my lesson plan today, but it's important to know.
I throw curveballs in role playing.
And that is perfectly fine and very useful. So we are going to do this. Zoom. Share screen. Yeah, share. Can everybody see my whiteboard?
Yes.
Okay,
I'm
great.
seeing.
So this is very important for you guys, both as advisors and as clients, to understand. There is a big difference between APR and yield. Excuse my terrible handwriting. Okay. So I want you to imagine that you have 100K in an investment account, okay? So year 1, you do absolutely fabulously and you double your money. Your son. How much money do you have?
Double.
So $200,000.
Yay.
200K. The next year is really, really bad and you lose half of it. How much do you have in your investment account?
100,000.
100,000.
Back where you started.
$100,000. The following year is another banner year and you get 100% return. How much money do you have?
200.
$200,000. The following year is really, really bad again, and you lose 50%. What do you have?
100,000.
$100,000. Okay. What is your APR for these 4 years? Do we know how to calculate that?
Yeah.
How do we calculate APR over these 4 years?
Total
Add them
and,
up.
total and divide by 4.
So we add them all up and divide by 4, right?
Yeah.
So 100 plus 100 is 200 minus 50 is 150 minus 50 is 100%. So 100 divided by 4 is
25%.
25%. We made a 25% return, guys. Isn't that great? Aren't we excited? We got a 25% return over 4 years.
Sounds good.
Sounds good, right? What do we have in our account?
100,000.
What did we start with?
100,000.
So what is our yield?
Nothing.
0.
0. We have yielded nothing, but our APR is 25%. So when we get our statements and we're making the magic 8%, does that mean anything?
Oh, it is large.
Say that again.
It's large.
It sounds like a lot,
Yes.
but it's a statistic. It's a fake number. It doesn't actually mean what we think it means. So statistically speaking, we're averaging 25% growth a year, but the number that actually matters is yield. Yield is what actually matters. So if you're not yielding 12%, which is anybody yielding 12% in today's day and age?
No.
Precisely. So I would also like to point out, and this is not something I would probably discuss with a client, but just for you guys' edification, Dave Ramsey wrote his book in 1991. Does anybody know what the market was doing in 1991?
Steadily increasing.
A monkey with a dartboard could make money in the market in 1991. They actually did this experiment. They had a chimpanzee, they set up a dartboard, and they put the logos of several different stocks onto this dartboard. Monkey throws darts at the dartboard. Whatever he hit is what they invested in. The monkey made money. That was 1991. So yes, in 1991, if you were not making 12% in the market, you should fire your advisor because they're not doing something right. But in the modern market, are we actually making 12% in the market?
No.
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 Why has Dave Ramsey's platform not adapted to fit? Anybody? Does anybody know what Dave Ramsey is in the business of?
Insurance sales. But his
He's writing newspapers, news
He's
articles.
selling books. He's
yes.
a radio host. He's a personality. He's selling himself. He's no different than Ryan Seacrest or Oprah.
But he's a financial expert on the radio.
Where's his
No.
license?
He's not.
No license?
He's not licensed in any state, in anything.
And that's why he can say whatever he wants to say, but he does own insurance marketing company.
Yeah, he's a marketer. But that is why he can say whatever he wants and not get penalized for it, because that's covered under freedom of speech. But he is not licensed in anything in particular, so he can give questionable information and not get censored.
So he
Whereas
was not selling insurance at all?
No, he's not licensed.
Oh, okay. I know that he's licensed, but he's not selling also. Okay.
Nope.
Okay.
Well,
Okay.
you can't sell insurance without having a license for it.
Okay. Okay. That's my
Insurance
understanding.
seller.
Thank you. Mhm.
Yeah. So all of us are licensed professionals. So we are bound by legal statutes on what we can and cannot say. Dave Ramsey is not.
He's not allowed to talk like that even.
Yeah, he's allowed. He's legally allowed to say whatever he wants
Really?
Yep.
Hmm.
because he doesn't have a license. So this right here is very important when somebody comes back and says, oh yeah, but I'm making 12%, I'm making 8%. Are you? Are you actually making what you think you're making? So does that make sense to people?
Sure does.
Okay. Also on that point, because you are, you're fairly new to the realm of cash value life, and we're back in the role play now. This is how I would speak to a client. Because you're fairly new to the realm of cash value life insurance. I have a book that I'm going to send you the PDF. Guys, please mind your background noise. Gonna mute a few people. Okay. So
Yeah, Kendra, if you
completely
leave me
lost
for
my
a
train
whole
of thought.
second, do that.
Yes, so there's a book that I'm going to send you via email. It's just a PDF. It's a very quick read. It's like 61 pages, and it is called Money, Wealth, Life Insurance by Jake Thompson. And it kind of gives you the history. Well, it gives you the history of cash value life insurance. It gives you some practical uses of cash value life insurance, and some examples where it has actually really helped people. For one example, have you heard of Disneyland
Of course, everybody's heard of Disneyland.
in California, right?
Yes, correct.
Yes. So Disneyland, and probably the entire Disney Corporation, would not exist if it wasn't for cash value life insurance.
Really? How so?
Because Roy and Walt Disney were animators, and they wanted to put together a theme park that would be a family space that they could take their children to, and have it be a fun family outing. But they were animators. So when they went to banks to borrow money for this idea, at the time, fairs and theme parks were kind of considered dodgy, not family. They were dirty. It wasn't a common concept like it is now. So they were turned down by several different banks to the point where they were just not getting the money to start this project. So what they did was they self-financed. They utilized the cash value inside of their life insurance policies. They borrowed from themselves to build Disneyland. And then it expanded from there, and the rest is history.
Wow, I wasn't aware of that.
And there are several other examples in the book that is the case. So guys, please mind your background noise. Book reference in chat. Yeah, I'll put it in the chat. It's called Money, Wealth, Life Insurance. Also in the book, it gives you a couple of illustrations to look at. And keep in mind that the book is several years old at this point, so the illustrations are not 100% current. So that being said, what I look at with cash value life insurance policies is where to get it to a point where the death benefit is a fringe benefit. Does that make sense?
Yeah, going off role play, that book is a great book. It's a must-have for all of us here because it not only talks about what you talk about, Kendra, gives several great examples of cash value life insurance, Tupperware, how they started, JCPenney, which I never knew that JC stands for James Cash, Stanford University. I mean, all those places would not be a business if it wasn't for life insurance. McDonald's, right? Another one, Ray Kroc. Also talks about bank-owned life insurance, which is why the banks, how you illustrated last week in that one FDIC, banks as far as what they hold in real estate and what they have in life insurance. I mean, it really breaks that down. So it's a great book, and something I always tell people, documentation beats conversation 100% of the time. So you're able to actually, show people what you're talking about, in writing.
Right. And the PDF for that book is in, it's in the resource section of the software. So for anybody who needs that, that's where it is. And I send it to clients all the time. If they are in the room with me, I will literally hand them a copy of one of these books. But for most of us, we're not going to be in the room with people all that often. So it is something that I would just send them the PDF. It's a quick read. They could read it in an evening. And really come back and be ready to ask more questions or to just go ahead with their plan. That is really a great tool. And if people are questioning the banking concept, okay, great. thank you, Felipe, for bringing that up. Let's take a look at what the banks do. And I have definitely shown clients the FDIC website, as we did in previous trainings, to go over that with a client, let them pick the bank and show them what they have in cash value life insurance assets. People are shocked every time. And just to keep in mind, everybody, I never say anything ever. I let somebody else say it for me. You know, Dave Ramsey sunk his own ship. I love using that example. Last week, we talked about Ted Benna. We talked about Cyril Northcote Parkinson. I let other people say things, and then I ask questions and make the client come to their own conclusion about it. Does that make sense? Anybody?
Yes,
Perfect.
it does.
Okay. So,
Well-
sorry, you were saying?
Yes. Can you put the author's name of that book in the chat?
I did, Jake Thompson.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Yep, not a problem. So, yes. So as soon as you offer an opinion, as you know, as soon as you offer an opinion, people have, or advice, people have a knee-jerk reaction to say you're wrong or that they don't want to do it. And that's not a position that we want to be in. We want to be the financial consultant. We want to help them buy. I don't sell ever. I educate, I help people buy. I'm Sacagawea. For anybody who does get that reference, and for anybody who doesn't, Sacagawea was the guide for the Lewis and Clark expedition in 1803. So she showed these two explorers around the Louisiana Purchase to show them what was there, what was possible, what could they put on their map and bring back to Washington. That is really how I explain what I do. I am just the guide to show you around, to show you what is possible, and to help you get to where you need to be. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
Okay, good. So there were a couple other things that, first off, were there any questions on what we talked about today? Okay, so normally at this point, you know, I'm going to tell them that I'm going to send them the book. If they have any questions, we can do that. And we're going to set up another appointment to answer any last minute questions, to take some applications. And something I've said to people that actually closed sales for me was that filling out an application is not saying that you are going to do it, that you are going to use cash value life insurance as your bank. It's just giving you the opportunity to use cash value life insurance as your bank, because it takes time to process. You have to qualify for it. So we need to make sure that everything will move forward smoothly. And, you know, especially for people who are going to need to fill out FAFSA, they have a ticking time clock. So when you make that decision, we want to make sure that you're ready to make that decision. Does that make sense to people?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay, good. Perfect. So that being said, there were a couple other things I wanted to go over today. And
Kendra, real quick, getting back to role play, this is something, people will bring up. So now you show me this chart. How come, the financial guy I was talking to and every other financial person that, we've spoken to in the past has never even brought this up? What is that?
So this is who, your Edward Jones advisor or someone of that ilk?
Yeah. Even my uncle, was telling me the same thing. And he's not a financial person, but nobody mentions, life insurance. They all mention mutual funds and stock market and 401ks and what have you. So why is that?
It's the popular theory. It's what everyone knows. And to be quite frank with you, it is the sexier route to retirement. It's far more exciting than cash value life insurance. But are you looking for exciting or dependable?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I don't see why no one would want to look for dependable and, like you mentioned, guaranteed and tax-free and pencil-free. That's never brought up. Just blows
Yeah.
me away.
For people that you know in life, I'm going to say that they don't know about it. I am going to give your advisor the benefit of the doubt and say that they don't know about it. But the other big thing is, and this is something for more you guys to know and not something I generally say to clients, that advisors can't sell it. They cannot sell fixed products. Most of them, they may be licensed to, but whatever house they are with won't allow it. They can only sell variable annuities, variable life insurance, and therefore it does not, it will not work because it's still market-based. Giselle has a question or comment.
Just to tag on to that, and if they're not trained and haven't learned about the cash value life insurance, they have no idea that that's the way it works, because they're taught completely different as to what cash value life insurance is for.
Exactly.
We did it for 20 years before we learned about cash value life insurance. And once we learned, we flipped the switch. And a lot of guys or persons in the industry, they don't know how to flip the switch.
Precisely. It is a huge mind shift for people who have been selling death benefit for 20 years. I don't sell death benefit. Death benefit comes as a fringe benefit, and going over an illustration and how I build that is something I have done in previous trainings and will do again, but we are running short on time, so I don't have time today. But basically, if anybody has heard the phrase buy term, invest the rest, that's another way to wrap your head around it, because we have a whole life chassis where the cash value lives and grows. And to build that cash value, the federal government, I believe it was 1984 that they put in the regulation that you must have a certain amount of death benefit to have this much cash value. And that's what we call the corridor. So to get whole life is in fact expensive all by itself. That's a fact, because the insurance company has that risk for your whole life. You cannot outlive this death benefit. Therefore, we need to find a way to build more cash value and minimize the cost of insurance. So we throw a term rider on it to bulk up the death benefit and build the cash value. And there's also something called a paid up additions rider that is put on this, so the dividends buy more whole life insurance so that the cash value can continue growing. And when the term rider falls off, you still have a significant amount of death benefit to protect this family from anything. And that's how we get there. And I'll go into greater depth on that in a future training, but there are a couple other things I need to get to today. So, is everybody familiar with the boot camp contest? So for anybody who's not, I'm going to share my screen super fast. Can everybody see this? The boot camp contest?
Yes.
Okay, good. So we're calling it the Valentine's Boot Camp Contest because it will end on Valentine's Day. Everything needs to be submitted by Valentine's Day. So to earn points, you can purchase the software, which will get you 15 points. You do not have to have the software to compete. Please join the contest. It's a great way to make money between now and then. It's a great way to learn the concept. It's a great way to prepare for boot camp. The second way is any life sale, which means that an application submitted on your own pen is 3 points. For every $250 of annual premium, issued paid policies only count for these, is an additional 3 points. So a $1,000 annual premium is 12 points. Any annuity sale application submitted is also worth 3 points. And for every $10,000 of annuity premium on an issued paid policy is also 3 points. So a $50,000 annuity is 15 points. Guys, please mind your background noise. Where was I going with this? Oh yeah, also, for those of you who are not ready to sit down with a client by yourself, you can still get points for this contest. So if you're sitting down with me or any other more experienced agent, but it's your client that you brought to the table, any application submitted off of that is worth 1 point. And you still get points for the premium when the policy becomes issued paid. So email me to tell me that you guys are in. My email is right there. If you can see it, it's kroads@icanfinancial.com. And keep coming to the trainings. That is a requirement of the contest. And where is my next page? 1 second. Yeah, so basically, email me, let me know you're in. That is how to do the this contest. And the other thing I wanted to bring up, and also for these applications, they don't need to be Life Plan 360 only. They can be mortgage protection, they could be $1 Million Baby, they could be a retirement client and you're doing solely annuities. They could be term life, they could be annual renewal term, you know, whatever it is that you have going on, it still qualifies. So get out there and do, and utilize your resources. So the holiday bonus contest, if I can drag this over, is the third place is $25 gift card. The second place is a $50 gift card. The first place is a $100 gift card. And the first place winner of this contest automatically qualifies for the VIP dinner at boot camp. You need 25 points on the other contest to qualify for the VIP dinner at boot camp. Bonus, for every $2,000 of issued paid annual premium, you get a $25 gift card. And for every $20,000 of issued paid annuity premium, you get a $25 gift card. And that's in addition to whatever you're making for commission. And also, these are not mutually exclusive. You can use the same points and the same policies to qualify for both. Does that make sense? Does anybody have any questions? Okay, so I'm going to stop sharing for 1 second because I have one other point I would like to make today, and I'm going to give you guys a homework assignment. So the specific words that we use actually do matter. Case in point, can anybody tell me the difference between the words choice and decision? Anybody? Are they the
Choice means
same?
that you are choosing. Decision means that you are committed to a choice.
Interesting. You're on the right track. I'm going to break that down a little bit further. So decision is the noun form of the verb decide. The prefix D meaning to, the root word side meaning to kill. So if you have two choices, you need to kill off one of them and you are left with your only option. And that is how you arrive at a decision. Choice is you have, let's say you have two options again. You are going to weigh them against each other. After considering all of the pros and cons of both of these options, you are picking one, hence you choose. You have made a choice. So it very much is about connotation, where decision is a little bit more negative, and choice, you are making a decision or a choice with both eyes open. You're going into it knowing all of the facts. And this is important in everything that we say and do, not just those two particular words. But has anybody ever noticed that when somebody is getting frustrated with somebody being wishy-washy, I need you to just make a decision. Nobody ever says, I need you to just make a choice. Does anybody notice this? Okay, I'm alone on that one, but that is a fact.
No, yes, I have noticed that.
You have noticed that. Exactly. So intrinsically, we know the difference, but we don't think about it cognitively. So this is something that I have noticed a lot in general speech. with agents, with some of you, not with everybody, but this is something that I want you guys to do as homework. This is not something I'm checking. This is for you guys. Anytime there is and I have done this exercise, so keep that in mind. Anytime there is a word that comes up in conversation, whether it's on a training with me, on a different training that you go to, out in public, wherever it is, I want you guys to get an index card and obviously like write the word down at the time or save it in your phone so that you don't forget what the word is. Very easy to do. Write the word down on an index card. I then want you to write the part of speech on the index card and write out the definition. And I don't mean type it up. I mean physically get an index card and a pen and write it down. And I also want you to use that word in a sentence and keep a box of index cards so that you can reference these words every now and again and add them to your vocabulary and use them and really understand the etymology of where these words come from, because the specific words that we use matter. So yes, this is an exercise that I have done for a great number of years. I actually started this when I was tutoring in high school, and I didn't realize the ripple effect of that exercise until many years later, because one of the girls that I was tutoring, I made her do this exercise, and she was so annoyed because I wouldn't just tell her what the word meant that she didn't know. And she came back to me probably 8-10 years later and said that she still does this exercise and it has made an immense change in her life and added immense value to her life because it brought her up from like a 3rd grade reading level to a collegiate reading level just by doing this one simple exercise. So she understood the words specifically that were being said around her. So that is something that we can do on our own to improve our own education and our own vocabularies and bring ourselves up as well.
Can you tell that one more time? Because I think I skipped a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anytime there's a word that is said that you do not know, or you are not 100% certain of the definition of that word or the meaning of it, you are going to write that word on an index card. You are going to put the part of speech on the index card. You are going to write the definition on an index card and use that word in a sentence and keep a box of index cards of all of these words.
Okay.
That is all of your homework for this week and frankly going forward. That is the challenge that I issue to all of you. I'm not checking it. This is entirely for you. So it's an investment in yourself.
Yeah.
Howard,
Any questions, comments, concerns? We have like 1 minute left.
Hey, Kendra,
Howard?
can you hear me?
Yes.
This is Tim. How you doing?
Good, how are you?
This is unrelated, but it might help everybody. I was on an appointment yesterday, right?
Mhm.
And it was with a guy. He wasn't qualified for insurance. He for life insurance. He had a pacemaker. So I showed him Gerber. All he could get was like 25,000. He's 65 years old. But anyway, I was explaining the benefits of life insurance to him, even a small policy. And he says, "Oh, I can." He has like about $500,000 in annuities, right? He says, "Oh, I can set up my annuities in a trust, and there won't be any taxes." That's not necessarily true, right? Once you take the money out of the trust, you get hit by taxes.
It's not necessarily true, but it could be set up properly such that it is not taxable. That is actually one of the units I'm planning on bringing in an expert for at boot camp, is about specific trust law. And it is very, very specific and very, very detailed because, and I am not an expert, not by far, but to my understanding, there's something called an extraordinary dividend that does not qualify as income. But again, this is something that we would need to have an expert actually give you all of the details on. And it's not even something that I would ever explain to a client. I would basically give I have an expert that you can talk to about this.
Something like trust. I associate that with like the Rockefellers, with billionaires, not little middle-class schmucks like us. I mean, come on.
Oh no, it's very, it's expensive. I'm not going to lie to you. to have a trust done right, it's expensive, but that doesn't mean that somebody who's been middle class their entire life doesn't need a trust in retirement. You know, anybody who, you know, the golden rule is that we need to get to that $1 million in our retirement assets to live comfortably in retirement. Well, anybody who's actually at that $1 million in assets is going to get absolutely murdered with taxes.
Right, from like a 401k or an IRA or annuities, right? So.
Right.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
would it be worth it to them to spend $50,000 to $80,000 on a trust and never have to pay tax on that again?
Yeah, but for half a million, 500,000, it almost sounds like it's not even worth it.
That's where you start to get that becomes a gray area. That becomes I'm going to defer to the experts.
Yeah, no, if
But
you're the
just-
Rockefeller family, you're talking about billions of dollars, it's worth it. You know, for a middle class person, it almost sounds like it's too
Yeah.
expensive.
Even $1 million, it usually turns out to be worth it. But again, I would defer to the experts.
Exactly. right.
And the average lawyer is not going to be able to put together a trust that will be bulletproof.
Exactly. Yeah,
They
that's
get
what I
30
thought.
hours of trust law in law school. And yeah, they can write a trust that'll cost you $2,500. And it will cost you anytime you need to make a change to it. And it will not be bulletproof. It will
It benefits the
only-
attorneys, it doesn't benefit you. Exactly,
Right.
right.
It only gives surface level protection. It doesn't give forensic level protection, which is what we're trying to achieve. And if we're looking for anonymity in general, which means that we're trying to avoid tax, we're trying to avoid probate. And I'm talking about avoidance, not evasion. Those are two very different things. One is legal, one is not. And yeah, so that is when we need to defer to the expert who they've literally spent their entire career doing nothing but trust law. And they know a lot about contracts. And honestly, these trusts are built on the same chassis as the American Constitution. So again, I always defer to the expert. This isn't even something that I'm going to talk about at boot camp. I'm bringing in an expert to do it, but it is available.
Thank you very much for on a very complicated subject. Thank you.
Yeah, sorry, that's my 2 cents on it. It is possible. Talk to the experts. Any other question? I know we're a couple minutes over, so I want to be mindful of everybody's time. If anybody has any questions, please email me, but anything.
Howard, quickly.
Yes.
I only want to second your homework assignment to this. I read at the collegiate level and tutored English for a while. But I can tell you that I come across words still that I do not understand, or perhaps think I understand, I'm not sure of. And I find myself going to my computer I put in define and the word, and I get a very specific definition to this day. It works to build your vocabulary and make your conversation much more precise.
Yeah, exactly. And the specific words that we use matter. Synonyms don't necessarily mean the same thing, and they cannot always in every situation be interchanged for each other. So that's really the point I'm trying to make there. Benefit yourself and grow. So with that, I will adjourn for the day. Have a great weekend. Happy Veterans Day to anyone who served. Because that's tomorrow. And yeah, if anybody has any questions, comments, concerns, please feel free to email me. I'm going to put my email in the chat super fast. kroads@icanfinancial.com. Yeah, that's my email. So with that, I will say have a great weekend, and I will see you all same time, same place next week.
Thank you, Kendra.